I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you so much for coming to the Akin bi-monthly meeting. This week, we are so happy to have Jordan. He is Jordan Crist, not Jordan Christ, not Eric either. And we're very happy to have him. We're going to talk about business building, credit. As you know, investors get, we get big hits every time we run our credits to purchase homes. So we thought it would be a good way to have him come and give us some tips. And he also can help you with your business credit. So Jordan, take it away, and any format you want to do. And like I said, we can answer questions now or later.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the little intro there. What's up, everybody? As you can see, I'm probably not very local to you. I'm a mountaineer. I'm in West Virginia. This is where I was born and raised, and we are real estate investors here in Charleston, West Virginia. So we do fix and flips, and we are hungry for rentals right now. So we're big in the real estate space, and through real estate, I found credit and how powerful credit can be for your real estate company. It's super, super, super important. I actually work with a lot of real estate investors that, they're right on that verge, that 600, 650, and their hard money lender or their bank wants to see 680, 700, 750, get you even better rates. So I just found that credit's very powerful in real estate. So I started learning a lot about it. I have a coach, I have a mentor. He's a higher level mastermind kind of credit coach, and I take a lot from what he teaches us and kind of give it back to my community. So that's kind of the basis of it. But I am using credit in my business, and when we're flipping homes or doing renovations to our rental properties, credit's important because you can pay a hard money lender or your private money lender, 8 to 14, 20% sometimes, but you can get business lines of credit for 3%, 4%, 0%. We do a lot of 0% stuff. So certain credit cards come with those 12, 14, 20-month periods where you can get 0% interest. So if you can take your lender and reduce his, loan by $50,000, $100,000 and use your credit, then you can save a ton of money. It's not just about the 0% part of it. It's about how much less of a loan you've got to take from that lender to execute your project and exit it. And you got to think too on the back end, if you're doing a $200,000 project, you buy it for 100 and need 100 to put into it. Well, what if you only have to go raise the 100 and then you can use your own business credit for the other 100? You can make a lot more profit on that back end if you can go through your credit. And I'm going to talk a lot about personal, but you really want to gear yourself up for business credit in this sense, because we all know utilization is a big part of your personal credit. So if you start taking out big loans on your personal side for your business, you're going to see your score drop pretty substantially. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up with a brief personal credit and what affects your personal credit the most, and some things you can do to get that quick infusion of points if you're looking for a loan, but your credit score is just off by 30 to 50 points. I've got all kinds of little tricks up my sleeve that you can get that credit score popped up real quick. Aisa mentioned Credit Karma. I do use Credit Karma in my preliminary stages with my clients, but once they come on board, I like Identity IQ. It gives you a ton of protection, and it gives you all three scores. Instead of Credit Karma, you've got your TransUnion and your Equifax. And then you've got to go over to Experian and look at your Experian. Identity IQ gives you all three side by side, so you can see the differences and the discrepancies. I'm going to put a little link in the chat box. If you guys want to use it, it'll give you a free 7-day trial with my link, so you can get in there and try it out. I've formulated a partnership with these guys, and they're open to me giving out free 7-day. I think it's like $1 for 7 days. And then after that, they bill you the normal rate, but at least get in there and check it out. Pay $1, get all three of your credit reports, see it all side by side. And you'll have all three of those. You can download them and have them for yourself. So I would highly recommend Identity IQ over Credit Karma or Experian. All right. let's jump into personal real quick. So I'm going to share with you my website. It's already up there in the chat box, but I'm going to share my screen and kind of show you some of the resources that are on my site that are free and available to you. Use them, abuse them. You don't have to use my services, but definitely hop on the website, read the blogs, and some of the cool stuff that I'm doing, in the credit space. All right. And we're Aisa and Mickey. A lot of us on here are part of the same group, Kim, and they've built our website for us. So this is a site built by our Top Results Consulting family, who did a fantastic job on all of our websites. I've got nothing but good stuff to say about them. So right out of the gate, I just want to point you to kind of, the services that I offer. And then this is the big thing right here. I did a webinar back in September, and it's a free credit training. If you click on it, it's going to ask you to put your name and your email in there, and then it'll give you access to that free training. But there are a ton of, it's about a 45 to 50 minute webinar that I did with a Q&A at the end. But just using that alone, you're going to get a nice little 30 to 50 points easily. So what I want to go over with you first is right here. This is the nuts and bolts of your credit score. Okay. This is what affects your credit score and kind of the sweet spots of where you want to be with each of the 6 credit factors. So if you look at Credit Karma, you've got these 6 boxes: payment history, credit card utilization, derogatory marks, age of credit history, total accounts, and hard inquiries. That's what makes up your credit score. Okay. Payment history is the biggest one. This is where people get damaged the most. 35% of your credit score is made up from your payment history. One missed payment, one 30-day late payment can drop you substantially, 25 to 50 points. So just make sure, my biggest tip for this is with your personal credit cards, your car payments, your mortgages, set those up on auto pay. Just let them pay automatically, set them all up on auto pay so you don't run the risk of missing a payment. If you do miss a payment, you still have 30 days after your due date to get that payment in before it counts as a strike on your payment history. You want to be 100%, period. Anything less than 100%, a lender is going to look at you as a little bit more risky than the next guy because they know you've missed a payment. Okay, so that's the most important one there. Now, what if you've missed a payment? What can you do about it? There's all kinds of things you can do about it. In my program, we help people remove their late payments in a multitude of different ways. If it's an account that you're no longer using, we can dispute and get rid of the whole account and delete it off your credit report. Poof, gone. The problem with that is if it's an old account, then it's going to affect this, your credit history. You can't just create credit history. You can't create age. You have to wait time. It takes time to build credit history up. And I'll touch on one other trick when we get down that far. But if you delete old accounts, it's going to affect your credit history. The other thing you can do is you can ask for forgiveness. If you've had a late payment back in 2020 during COVID, you can kind of use that to your advantage. Use the world circumstances to your advantage. Hey, sorry, lost my job, income dropped, I missed a payment, but as you can see, I've got back on track and I have 12 on-time payments since then. A lot of times you can work with them and they'll remove them for you. So that's point number 2 with that. You can fix payment history, and that's the first thing I would go after if that's a problem with your credit. Number 2 is credit card utilization. This is not your car loans. This is not your mortgages. They do not affect your utilization. Student loans do not affect your utilization unless they have been submitted to a collection agency, and the collection agency takes over and there's a debt that will go against your utilization. Okay, so credit card utilization is simply what the balance on your credit cards are at the statement date. So this is very important, the statement date. Statement date and due date are 2 completely different things. When you open a new credit card, the day that you open it, February 24th, that is day 1 of you having that credit card. On March 24th, you're likely going to have your first statement date. On March 29th, or 3 to 7 days after your statement date, you're going to have your minimum payment due date. Minimum date is pay it by then, don't get charged interest. Statement date is what gets reported to the credit bureaus. So that's a little bit tricky. If you pay your credit card down to zero before the statement date, then a $0 balance reports to the credit bureaus. That's what you want. That's where you want to be. We can set everything up on auto pay to make sure that we don't miss the minimum due date. In return, we don't affect our payment history negatively, but we want to try to get in there a little bit earlier, a week before that due date, and pay it off as low as you can pay it off. And that's going to give you a big time pop with your utilization. I see a lot of people, we're business people, so we run our credit cards up and then set them off on auto pay, and they pay off on that due date. But you might be 40% utilized, 50% utilized, and that's going to drop your score way down. So if you can get, the lower the better. There's all kinds of little myths about have 7% on there or 1% or 5%, whatever. That's a bunch of BS. Zero. Get it as close to zero as you possibly can. And that's going to give you the biggest boost. It's showing that you are a responsible user and that you pay. So, if you have 20% on there, you're going to see your score be a little lower. If you've got, really the sweet spot is under 9. That's ideal, but if you can get it down to 0, even better. There's certain cards, the black card, which is not an Amex or a Visa or anything like that. It's the creme de la creme of credit cards. You have to show 1 to 3% for like 3 to 6 consecutive months before you can even get that card. And it just gives you access to all these fancy things. I don't have it. I know some friends that have it. It's just a status symbol, really. That's pretty much all it's worth. But there are credit companies out there that look at the history of your utilization. So just keep that in mind. That's the biggest, that's the second biggest box of your credit score. That makes up 30% of your credit score. So between payment history and utilization, that's 65% of your overall score. Okay. So those are the two most important ones. Derogatory marks are collections, tax liens, bankruptcies, civil judgments, medical bills that went unpaid, anything that goes against your credit score. It doesn't make up a percentage of your credit, but if you have them, they hurt you. If you don't have them, good for you. These are all removable. They're all removable, disputable. It's one of the easier things to improve with your credit. I would recommend you reaching out to a credit professional before trying to do this on your own. Do not do this online. Do not dispute online. There are e-bots and robots and all these things that if you screw up one little thing on your online dispute, you're stuck with it for 7 years. In my program, we teach letters, contracts and letters. So we're constantly sending letters to the credit bureaus. It's the most effective way, and you can kind of trap them in a corner and get way better results. We're about 80% effective on our letters, and we're about, well, I can't even give you a percentage on online because I just don't do it anymore. So these are repairable. People freak out when they get these and they say, okay, my credit's shot. I've got clients with 10, 15 derogatory marks, and we can get rid of about 80% of them without you even having to pay the balance. So that's pretty powerful. I'll also recommend that if you have them and you have not started paying on them, then good for you. Don't start paying on them. Start developing a plan to dispute them before paying. As soon as you start paying for these collections or outstanding loans, medical bills, you're admitting guilt, essentially. If you don't admit guilt, well, you're not guilty until you're proven guilty. So that's where the disputing process comes in. If you've already started paying for them, then you're kind of stuck with them. But if you haven't, then we can definitely help dispute them. And sometimes you can get them removed without paying a dime. Sometimes you can get them reduced for 20% of what's owed. So there's a lot of cool things you can do in this box. But don't get discouraged by these. They're removable. They're very easily removable too. Okay, so moving down, we talked about credit history. Really, credit age. It only makes up 15% of your score, so it's not a huge bucket. It's the hardest thing to actually acquire because you just can't acquire time. One trick I have for you is if you've got parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, whoever that are responsible credit card users that have old credit cards, have them add you as an authorized user. What this is going to do is this. It's going to give you their payment history. It's going to give you their credit line. which affects this box. It's going to give you their total age, and it's going to add an extra account to your total credit profile. So it affects 4 boxes. So authorized user, you're going to have to warm them up to it a little bit. And the strategy I always talk to my clients about is, look, authorized user does not negatively affect anybody. When somebody adds you as an authorized user, the credit card comes to the card owner. They can simply cut it up and throw it away. They never have to give it to you. You never have to use it. You don't even have to activate it. Getting added as an authorized user only gives you the benefits of that card's metrics. You do want to be a little bit careful with it. If they have any late payments, 30 days or more, you don't want to add one of those to your credit profile, because that also gets transferred over to you. Okay. So say me, I have a low credit age. I have a 2-year credit age, and I have, 2 credit cards that average out to 2 years. Well, if I can get my grandpa to add me to his 35-year-old Walmart card, I can get 10 years added to my total credit age. So that's a very powerful trick, and it's free. Okay. There's off market, black market kind of things where you can get online and search them. If you're really looking for a pop in age and you don't have any family members that have older credit cards, you can actually buy trade lines of people with old accounts. They're expensive. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but if you desire it, you can go for it. I've seen, and honestly, if you have some of these older credit cards, you can get on there and sell your authorized user spots and make a little bit of money. I mean, I've seen 30-year-old credit cards with $30,000 credit lines sell for $2,500, and they'll loan them to you for 3 months. They're not going to loan you the card, but they're going to loan you that authorized user position for 3 months at $2,500. So it's kind of like a little black market, how to add some credit history to your credit profile. It's kind of interesting. Number 5 is total accounts. This is opened and closed. The more the merrier in the credit world. The sweet spot's 21 accounts, and you want to have a blend. Macy's card, department stores, credit cards, mortgages, cars, boats, motorcycles, whatever you've got. The more the merrier. I know that sounds weird, but the fewer accounts you have, the lower your credit score in that bucket. It's odd, but it is what it is. Credit's just a big game. You gotta get good at the game. It's like a basketball game. Just got to figure out the rules and get good at playing by the rules. Hard inquiry, and by the way, that only makes up 10% of your credit score, so it's not a huge factor. And then hard inquiries. Again, this is another 10% of your credit score. A lot of people freak out about the inquiries. They're not that big of a deal. Okay, you're gonna take out a loan or a credit card, and it's going to give you an inquiry. It's going to hit your credit score for about 5 to 10 points. In 3 months, you'll rebound and you'll get those points back. If you've got, the only time you really want to be worried about them is if you're like 10 to 20 or more inquiries. Then, lenders might look at you like, okay, you're applying for a lot of credit. What's going on here? Okay, so if you get into that 10 to 20 range, they're removable, especially like if you go to a car dealer and they ding you for 3 or 4 or 5 inquiries. The ones you didn't get the loan from, you can get them removed, and you can get them removed pretty easily. You can literally just call them up, call the credit bureaus up and say, hey, this isn't mine. I don't have a loan with this company. Experian, extremely easy. TransUnion and Equifax, a little bit more difficult. Sometimes they want some paperwork, submitted in, but we send letters. Even with that, I'll have my clients call them and try to remove them. If they say no, then we'll hit them with a letter and kind of demand that they get removed. So those are the 6 buckets for your credit score, and all this stuff is right here on my website. That's the meat and potatoes of your personal credit score. Understand that stuff so that you know what's affecting you, what's hurting your credit score, and then you can attack those metrics and overcome. It's all about overcoming. It's just a score. Okay, it can get improved. If you're in the 5s or 6s, don't worry. There's certain things in your credit report that are affecting you negatively. Just attack those, keep hammering them, and you'll be good to go. I'm a prime example of this too. Got my first credit card in college, ran it up, didn't pay it, screwed my stuff all up. And this is a common story with a lot of people. But now I'm sitting I use the crap out of my credit. I'm not going to lie to you. And I take out cards all the time, but I'm still sitting around a 760, and I've been in the 820 range before. There's no real additional perk to be in the 800 club or anything like that. You really want to try to get above a 720. If you can get up there, you can pretty much have whatever you want. Okay. So that's more the sweet spot that I like to go after, 720 and up. I'd like to open it up for questions on this part too, real quick, for personal credit, and then we can kind of, I got that done pretty quickly, so then we can roll into business credit if anybody's
Yeah,
wants
we
to.
have some very good questions actually. So Erin had asked about, hang on, I'm sorry. She said she was asking if the IDIQ was a hard hit on your credit.
No hard hit there. It's a soft pull, just like Credit Karma. And the difference between a hard pull and a soft pull is, you know, it's soft pulls don't affect your credit score at all. You know,
So I can
and it'll show you on Identity Q what's a hard and what's a soft pull. So that's kind of cool knowledge to have too. And it'll show if you're on Credit Karma, every time you log into that thing, it's a soft pull. A lot of people don't know that either, but it doesn't affect your score.
So the rule that, and maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're checking your own credit, it doesn't count against you. That's the rule,
Exactly.
the
If
general
you're
rule.
Yeah, if you're checking your own credit and requesting credit reports from the credit bureaus, it's not gonna affect your score. You can actually call them up and get a copy of your credit report every 30 days. And during this whole COVID thing, there was a point where they were doing you could get one every week if you wanted it. So they're not hard to obtain. You can get your credit reports pretty easily.
Another thing, the difference, sorry, for hard pull and the soft pull difference. When you're buying a house, the lender will do what they call a hard pull because they're really looking at everything with your credit. So that will show up on your credit report as a hard pull. And if you get more than a few lenders looking at your credit, it will drop your score. It'll drop it by a few points. But like a soft pull, sometime when you go to the dealership to get a car, they don't always do a hard pull. If they're looking at your FICO, it's pretty good. And little things like that, it's not going to be as hard of a pull. I don't know if that helps clarify that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And car dealerships are notorious for shopping your credit around. They'll shop it around to 3 or 4 or 5 other lenders, and you'll get dinged a bunch of times. But like I said, if you don't get a car with these 4 and you get a car with this one, don't dispute the lender that you got the car with. You don't want that to get knocked off your credit report. You want that to be there. But the other 4, to hell with them. They didn't give you the car anyway. So why do you want their hard inquiry on your credit report?
Okay. Next question was, if added as an authorized user on a credit card, does the amount of that card contribute to your credit card utilization?
Yes, it does. So that's one of the key things there too. You want to make sure that whoever's authorized user in you, that they're paying their balance down as well. And same thing, if they're waiting until the minimum date, whatever's there on the statement reporting date, that's what's going to show. I will say too, I have a couple cards that are high limit, 15 to 25,000. If you're only spending a couple $100 on those a month and you have a $25,000 limit, I mean, you do the math on that. 200 divided by 25,000. You can just let that auto pay. That's like under 1% utilized. So that's not going to drop your score down at all. But if you have a $5,000 balance on a $25,000 card, that's 20%. You want to knock that closer down to zeros as you possibly can. All right.
Okay. And if added as a user on a credit card, does your credit affect the card owner?
It does not. It's only a one-way street downstream to you. Your credit can't affect them unless you authorize user them to one of your cards. And I do this with my business partners and my girlfriend. We authorize user each other. I got a stack of authorized users this tall because we want each other's limits. I have a total revolving credit limit of like $250,000. Now, do I own all those? No, I certainly don't. But me having that high of a total limit means that I can go out and spend, I can have $20,000 on my credit, and it's only 10% or less on my. So you want to try to build that total limit up as high as you can, and that's going to help keep your utilization down. So do it with your friends, your family, just authorized user each other. Be careful though. I mean, keep it under 5 to 10. Chase is pretty lenient. Chase will let you authorize user up to 10, but do them in spurts. Do one and then wait a few months and do one. The last thing you want to have is your card closed out because they think there's something fraudulent going on with you authorized user in your whole neighborhood. Don't do that.
So, and I think you kind of answered this next one. For the total accounts of credit cards, do you need to use them all? Do you need to use them at all? So you say you have some that you don't use much or you don't use at all.
Yeah, you do have some that you don't use very much. The thing you're going to run into now, they're cracking down a little bit. If you don't use them at all, they might shrink your credit limit from $10,000 down to $1,000. So you do want to try to spread the love a little bit. You want to spread the love around and try to get them all involved. Get all the teammates involved, be a team player kind of thing. Try to use them. You don't have to run them, max them out, and then pay them down, but at least use 5 to 10% of your total limit each month or every other month to make sure that they're staying active. You don't want them to shrink your credit limits down.
So that's why you have them on like automatic payment. Because I mean, like if you have like 21, it's a lot to track.
Well, 21 to the total accounts is your cars, your mortgages, everything. So I've got one mortgage, one car, and some department store credit cards in there. I can't remember if student loans count or not. I think it does actually. I don't have any student loans, so it's not something I see every day. But I think student loans do count for an account because it is a loan.
They show up on your credit, and with my buyers, when they get qualification, they ask the holder of the loan to provide them with what's the minimum. So they will qualify buyers on the minimum that's owed, not necessarily the balance. They're more lenient and the interest rate is lower, but it does, it does show up on your credit.
Sure. Yep, absolutely.
So there was another question. I go through USAA Experian for credit lifestyle protection. Are there major differences between USAA Experian, Identity IQ, and LifeLock?
I am not familiar with USAA on that side of it, on their protections. I don't have USAA, so I'm not 100% sure on there. I'm trying to think if I have a list of benefits that Identity IQ gives. I mean, when you get on their website, you'll see it's a lot. They, Social Security protections, fraud protections, dark web protection, whatever that means. I have no idea what that means, but they've got it. There's all kinds of just benefits and protections with Identity IQ. To be honest, I use it because my mentor told me this is what you should be using. Okay, buddy, you've been doing this longer than me. That's what I'm doing. Sometimes less is more.
Okay, perfect. How many points does overutilization hurt you typically if your cards are at or over 80%?
Over 80% is going to probably get you the minimum amount of points in that bucket. I think once you go over 75%, you're in the high risk zone. And if you get on Credit Karma, I was trying to pull it up real quick, but my computer's kind of running slow since there's like 1,000 of you on here. But if you're over 75%, you're getting the minimum amount of points in that 30% credit score bucket. 1 to 9, highest amount of points. 10 to 29, you're still in the green, you're still all right, but try to get it down a little lower. 30 to 50, kind of in that middle range. They're a little bit leery to lending to you if you're in that. Over 50, don't even apply for anything, and here's the reason why too. It's not that you're going to get denied, but the goal behind credit is getting the biggest credit line you can get, right? So if they see you're 50, 60, 70, 80% utilized, they're going to give you like a $500, $400 credit card. They're not going to give you these $20,000 credit cards. you're too high risk. They're just not going to give them to you. So pay that stuff down first. The only other suggestion I can give you on that one too is if you do have a lot of credit card debt, then look for a consolidation loan. You know, if you've got a lot spread out between 3 or 4 cards, and go to your small local banks. This is a problem I ran into in my business very recently. Actually, we had a flip go bad. 2020 it just happens. Okay, so we had 23,000 on a business credit card, and I had 16,000 on a personal credit card, and I'm just, you know, my score dropped 50 points, and I'm like, man, that sucks. So we went and got a business consolidation loan from a small local bank, and they moved my personal credit card debt and my business credit card debt into a consolidated loan that was just on the business. It was no longer on me. So we consolidated it into a business loan. And instead of paying 20+% interest on it, now we're paying them, you know, 7 to 9% interest, which is a lot better, saving money.
Perfect. And so another thing I wanted to share with you guys, when anytime I'm talking with those lenders for all the buyers that I'm assisting, they always tell you if the credit card is above 50% of the credit line. So like say the limit is 10,000 and you're at, you know, $5,001, when they're trying to give you a loan, they consider that maxed out. So you always want to be below 50% on the credit line if you want to do anything with the bank. That's usually the rule. And all the loan officers always tell me that, and I always tell that to everybody else. So just, you know, FYI.
Yeah, that's a great point. Definitely.
Okay, when you use the authorized user strategy, how long do you need to stay on for there to be a benefit?
You're going to notice it immediately, but so you get added, as soon as the next statement rolls out for that credit card, you're going to see it reflect on your credit report. So it's, you know, in as little as 30 days, you're going to see a boost. Keep it on there as long as you can. I mean, it's not hurting the other person. So you want to ride that out for as long as you can. Like, and here's another good strategy. Here's another good point about the whole authorized user thing. Think about your kids. All right, you're 30, you have a newborn. They have a social security number. They have to be of age to apply for their own credit cards, but you can still authorize users them when they're 1 year old. What's that do for them for their future? You know what I mean? You've got a 20-year credit card, and your newborn has a 20-year credit history. It's pretty cool. So it doesn't affect the authorized user. You know, it only goes downstream.
So is the utilization based on percentage on each card or percentage on total available credit across all cards?
Great. That's a great question. Both. So let's say I've got these 4 credit cards and they each have a $25,000 limits. Then I have $100,000 total. Okay. I want to keep the total amongst these 4 as low as possible, below 10% if possible. But if this one has a $20,000 balance and the rest of these are 0, well, this one's showing 80% utilized and these are showing 0% utilized. So really, you want to spread it out. You want to be under 10% on each one, as opposed to being heavy on one and nothing on the rest. Okay, that's another reason why you want to spread the love a little bit when you're using your cards. You want to spread it out so that you can stay under that threshold for each card. If you look on Credit Karma under the utilization thing, it'll show you in the middle, this is how much debt you have. And then in the fine print right underneath of it, your total credit limit. And that's the accumulation of all your credit cards, is that total credit limit.
Yeah. It also shows you your total debt. How much you owe.
Yeah. They're really good about pointing out the debt, but they're not very good at pointing out the good parts.
Question, how do American Express limits factor in the utilization?
They're just like all the other ones. So you're asking, maybe re-ask that question. I mean, the limit is, just do a simple division problem. You know, your debt is here divided by your limit. That's your utilization percentage.
Hey, this is Otto. I'm the one who asked that question. The reason I'm asking is because American Express technically doesn't have a limit. Now, based off your spending history with them, they may or may not approve something. So, like when I signed up for Fortune Builders, the most I'd ever had on that card was say $25,000.
Sure.
But I opted for one of the higher things. I called them up and they said, "Yeah, you're good for it." So they have a way of checking that out.
Yeah, they can give you over what your actual limit is, but you're going to start out with some sort of a limit. You're
Yeah,
going to
but
have
technically, I mean, I've been with them for over 30 years now, so I've got long history with them. So I'm sure that factored
Have
into.
you added to your credit history?
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
add all of us actually. Go ahead. No, I'm
30
just kidding.
years. All right now. Okay, I'll be calling you tomorrow.
Okay.
Everybody put Otto's email in here. Oh, he already did. Everybody email Otto. Let's get on his card. No, I'm just kidding. Don't add everybody like that. That's going to get your 30-year credit card closed out real quick. I actually had he's not one of my clients, but somebody in Fortune Builders. He had a few of his cards. I think they were Bank of America, and I think he only authorized user maybe 5 people on them. You know, he was charging them a fee to AU them, but he got a couple of his old cards shut down. So just be careful with it. Do it slowly, one at a time over a 3 to 6 month period. Don't do your whole neighborhood, but you can do me first, Otto.
So Phil missed the part about adding an authorized user being added on someone else's account does not affect their credit score. So Phil, if you're added to the person's credit card, it does not affect them. It helps boost your credit instead.
Yep, only goes downstream. That's right.
Okay, the next one.
Ooh, somebody just said Bank of America is real quick to close accounts. They closed a 20-year card with a 0 balance. Yeah, I hear bad things about. I don't know what's up with Bank of America. I know. I'll do this too real quick while we're at it. I'll tell you my favorites to least favorites. Chase is number 1. Go for Chase. Here, Chase has a rule. It's called 524. Just Google it. You can only open an account with Chase if you have opened less than 5 accounts in the last 24 months. Okay. So when we coach my clients, it's Chase first, especially people that are new that don't have credit. Dang, I don't have my wallet up here with me, but I'd show you. Chase Freedom Unlimited and Chase Freedom Unlimited Flex. Great starter cards, great bonuses right now. I think if you spend $500 in 3 months, they give you a $200 or $300 statement credit. Those are great ones to go after. If you message me after this, I can even send you a referral link, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get that card. So I go for those 2 first, and then Chase Sapphire Preferred comes next. And then if you want to be a big dog and go after the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you can do some powerful things. That's called a 3-way stack. What you can do is you spend all your money on your unlimited cards, and then when you transfer the points from unlimited to preferred, give you 1.25 the value. If you go from unlimited or Sapphire to the reserve, it gives you 1.5 times the value. So that's a 3-way stack. It's super powerful. There's annual fees with the latter 2. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is $95 or $99 a year. It's worth it. That one's definitely worth it. When you get into the reserve, they're high fee cards. They're $450 to $550 a year on the annual fee. But what you get if you use it properly offsets all that. So they'll give you $200 in airfare every year. They'll give you, I don't know, some of them are like $100 in Lyft rides a year. X amount of points on your dining that multiply so high that it kind of offsets all that. So those are powerful cards. Just make sure, you don't want to go out and get the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Amex Platinum, and a couple other big dog cards and don't use them for what they're worth. You want to have one of those in your arsenal. You don't want to be paying $550 in annual fees multiple times every year, unless you're traveling all over the world and you're just a baller like that. But I'm not, so I only have one of those.
And after Chase, who's the next one that you like?
Okay, kind of depends on your I'm a big travel guy. So after Chase, I like to kind of break it down with who do you like the most for your travel. Oh, part 3 to Chase too. If you have Southwest Airlines in your area, those cards are smoking, man. Chase Southwest has what's called a companion pass. If you get a Chase Southwest personal card and a Chase Southwest business card, and you hit the bonus, the spin bonus on each of them, so stagger them, get one and then get the other 3 months later, use them on your renovations, you'll get what's called a Chase or a Southwest companion pass. And you'll have so many points if you do it this way. You'll have probably 150,000 points. What the companion pass lets you do is take you and your companion. So Mickey and Israel want to go, they want to fly over to Florida because they're tired of being cold. Then Mickey's got the companion pass. She puts Israel on as her companion. It's buy one, get one free. But you have so many points that you're going to pay for the flight with points, and you're still going to get the second one free. So me and Leah, we both have the companion passes. We're flying to Arizona in 2 weeks for $5.60. All you have to do is pay the taxes. Then we're going up to Vegas for $5.60. Then we're coming back to Columbus for $5.60. We're just spreading these points all over the place. And I think we really only spent like 30,000 of our 250,000 points, but our flights were like $30 for 3 flights. So it's pretty wild if you want to do. If you have a Chase Southwest, I highly recommend, or you have a Southwest close to you. I don't even have a Southwest close to me. I got to drive to Columbus 2.5 hours away, but still it's worth it for me. Okay.
No,
so after that,
opening one, that's a good one for us, Maryland. We have Southwest at BWI. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one. Next after that, I like City and I like Discover. City is usually a MasterCard. So Chase's Visa, City's MasterCard. You kind of want to spread out between the companies too, right? You don't want to have all Visa. So I like City and Discover next. Discover for the cash back. They have a cash back match. So it's 1.5% cash back on their personal and their business. And then what you spend, what you get rewarded 1.5% over the first year, they'll match you. So they give you another 1.5%. So it's essentially 3% across all categories. Some of these cards, like Capital One, will give you 5% on your groceries 1 month and gas or whatever. This is across the board. And Discover is really good for new folks too, coming into the credit game. They're more likely to give you a credit card. They have lower credit score requirements. So City and Discover next. After that, American Express. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of American Express. Their point values are just lower. So your Hiltons and your Deltas, their points get you less. And that's just that. So Amex would be kind of in that 3rd to 4th range. And then Capital One. Actually, I can't stand Capital One, to be honest with you. It's kind of the worst. Their points are worthless. They never raise your credit limits. They just suck. Sorry, I said it. You heard it here first. Wells Fargo, not a fan of them. I don't have a Wells Fargo around me, so it's not very beneficial. Navy Federal Credit Union, that's another good one. That would kind of be up in there with the Amex. I know I don't have those cards myself, but they are powerful and they give you big credit limits. Like you can open up with 25,000 right day one. So that's a good one. U.S. Credit Card Guide. I'll type that in here. U.S. Credit Card Guide. I think it's .com. That's where you should subscribe to them. Oh, I sent that right to Michael. Sorry, I got to send that to everybody. USCreditCardGuide.com. That's where I do all my homework on what credit cards have the new bonuses. Award Wallet. Subscribe to their newsletter. They send you weekly updates on who's the next big bonus. These bonuses, these spin bonuses change. They go from, they might be 50,000 this month, but they might be 100,000 in 3 months. So you want to get the cards that give you the big spin bonus because you're only going to get that card once, maybe twice in your lifetime. So you want to hit it when the spin bonus is big. Okay, that's a lot of personal credit stuff right there. I just gave you all the secrets in my book. My Cash App tag is Jordan B. Crist.
Yeah, we always share the recording because somebody asked. We will have it And if you go back to the email about this meeting, there's a second link is on all the presentations. So this one will be there probably next week. So we duly believe in child exploitation. So we have the children working on putting the videos together. So
I need that.
mine is the one taking care of these, so she'll have it ready this one by next week.
You guys' videos are so good. I need to hire them.
Sure.
Or I need to have my own kids, I guess, but it's going to take them a few years to be able to YouTube.
You know what? That generation might be faster than ours because these kids are just incredible.
But they'll have credit cards.
That's right. They'll have credit cards.
Absolutely. So there was another comment about Dave Ramsey and other money gurus that try to say do cash only and own companies on that strategy, saying that all debit and credit card is bad. How we always hear that. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is Dave Ramsey has his opinions, and they're good for some people. They're good for people that don't know how to save well, don't know how to invest well. It's good to not be in debt. Don't get these credit cards and just run your debt up. That's not the point of them. The point of them is to use them in your business like you need them. Use them for your flips and get these big bonuses. The money's going to come back to you as long as you do a good job on your project. And that's how we've been able to travel. We've been doing real estate since 2017. I can't tell you the last time I paid for a flight or a hotel. You do these big renovation projects, you might as well get rewarded for them, right? And be able to travel to your boot camps for free and all that good stuff. So I would say use them in your business. Don't use them to go out and buy Rolexes and stupid material stuff like that. That's not the point of your credit cards. Credit cards are there to help you build your real estate empire or build your business empire. So use them wisely, use them in your business. Don't listen to Dave Ramsey. What's he know? Good Lord.
So there were more comments about Bank of America closing accounts for low utilization. Capital One did that to us also for a business line of credit we weren't using. They just went ahead and closed it. I guess.
Wow, that's crazy. I just got my first Bank of America. I'm going to use it, and they're probably going to close me out once I get my sign-up bonus and don't stop using it. They're probably going to shut me down. That sucks.
Yeah, I think they're like, because for some of them, it's more expensive for them to hold them if you don't use them. Then if you're
that's interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So someone talked about SOFI on personal loans.
You know what? SoFi was really big there for a little while. When you could get on SoFi and refer like your whole neighborhood and in your whole town, and you could get $100 bonus from SoFi, it was really good. Now they're kind of pushing these other loans. I haven't used them for anything like that, so I can't really speak on that too much. But I know I made a lot of money on those referrals, and then I took all my money and threw it into Bitcoin. So thank you, SoFi.
Okay. Yeah, Nyla, yes, there's always a recording. Barclay Ring. Do you know who Barclay Ring is?
Is that a credit card company? Not used, closed in 6 months?
Kim, can you unmute yourself, Kim?
Oh, yeah, it is. Barclay Ring is a credit card, and that's what they did to me.
I've not heard of that one before. Is that like a more local bank or?
No, I just found it on one of those credit card sites, and they were offering a great 0% down balance transfer. So that's why I popped onto it.
Yeah, those are really, I've been bouncing that Fortune Builders debt around from 0% card to 0% card for about 4 years. So that's what those are good for. They're not going to reward you huge on the points, but that 0% for 15 months is a great way to move some debt from one card to the other. Dave Ramsey would definitely not approve of that, but Crist Consulting definitely does.
The credit card list that we talked about, is it the same for personal and business, or this is mostly personal?
That's a great question too. Chase dominates both sides. So I would start with one or two personal credit cards from Chase and then venture into their business credit cards for sure. Start with that. Freedom Flex is a good one right now. It's very popular right now. And then get you one of the Sapphire cards. They're heavy and metal and feel good in your wallet and give you great rewards. And Chase, those preliminary Chase cards that aren't specialized to, Southwest, specialized for Southwest points, but you can take your Chase points and transfer them to your Southwest account, or you can take your Chase points and transfer them to, I think Marriott is one of the partners of Chase. I could be mistaken there. I got a lot of information going through my brain right now, but you can transfer them to Chase's partners, which is also why those Freedom and Sapphire cards are so powerful, because they're so flexible. So Chase dominates both business and personal side. Amex's business cards, I will say, are very good. So I would say Amex is probably number 2 when it comes to the business rewards. Discover and Citi kind of fall in behind those two. And again, I don't know a whole lot about Navy credit. The one I'm talking about. I don't know what. I don't have those banks here, so I don't utilize them as much. But a lot of people like those. So if they're in your area and you have somebody, Zach's raising his hand, if they're in your area and they've got, you can create a relationship with them, or you're military or have somebody in your family that's military, I hear those can be powerful cards. So explore those.
So for us, like we've been doing the business building. Chase, Chase has been great. Chase Inc. We got the Chase Inc. They gave us money right away, and they give us 15,000, and considering it was
big lines with them
and everything right away. So Chase was pretty good. We have the Home Depot card too, and we use it a lot. And we love the revolving balance on it, because it tells you how much you need to pay if you don't want to pay interest. And it actually shows you the different ones. So it's great. So like, let's say you have multiple projects, you don't have to pay off the whole balance. You can pay off just a portion that's going to charge you interest. And it gives us the rebate checks every 6 months. We get rebate checks. Of course, I take that and I go buy stuff for the house. So I love it.
You should buy stuff for your own house with the rebates.
Yes. And then, but they give you discounts too. So you get like emails, discounts, and they give you points. So you'll get like $50 gift certificate because you spend, so many thousands at Home Depot. That's a good thing too with the account. And the other one that we use is the Bank of America card. We haven't tried anything with Citibank. But Chase and Bank of America, I don't really mess. I mean, I have a Capital One, but the problem with the Capital One card, it shows on your personal account.
Yeah.
And
Chase, the Spark card is really good, but they're going to ding all 3 of your credit bureaus. So, and that's one that I've tried to get multiple times, even with an 800 credit score, and I just don't like Capital One. I got a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, this is like my emergency card. If I have no choice, I put stuff on it and then I try to pay it off. So, but I mean, they'll give you a card, but it's just not the rate is not that great. It's really like your extra cards, because you just need an extra card. Bank of America is all business. Chase is all business. Home Depot is all business. So I definitely, so I definitely like that one. Those are, the ones that have been great for us. So I just wanted to share that.
Kim asked, what about Chase Inc. business card? I got that one sitting on my pile of getting ready to apply for. I like its bonus right now. I like their rates. Very good card. And then Aaron said Capital One has 0 foreign transaction fees. So that is a good point about them. I believe Chase is 0 on the foreign transaction fees too. Pay close attention to that, because I was geotagging some photos the other day and I signed up for their, paid version. Well, it's a foreign company, and I used my Amex, and it definitely hit me with their little foreign transaction fee. It was like 30 cents, but it still made me mad. So watch out for that.
Cool. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Because I know you kind of stopped your presentation, because I think we answered all the questions.
We had a lot of questions there. That's good. I will. I'll just move right into the business credit if you want to go that route. I'll share my.
Does anybody else have any personal credit question, or can we move to the business question, the business presentation?
I think I sort of have a personal credit question, but I think it might make more sense after, Jordan, you do your business credit. So I think I'll just hold on to it right now.
Okay.
Erin?
So if you have derogatory marks,
yep.
Can you call one of those three, Experian or what have you? Or do you think writing the letter is the best way to go? And I'm assuming we're talking like snail mail letter and it's got to go through their whole approval process.
I'll tell you exactly my approach. This is what we do with my clients. Okay. So
Yeah.
we do a double-edged sword. We send a letter to the collector and we halt the collector from talking to anybody except for you.
What if you never received a letter from a collector, but it shows up on the credit check, like the credit pulls?
Okay, I'll get there. Give me 1 second. So you're going to send a letter to this collector. You might not have got anything from them. They're sneaky like that. But you can get their address from Identity IQ. It's got all addresses down the bottom. So there's a specific letter that we send to the collectors, and we tell them that they need to send you proof that you owe them money and that they are not allowed to talk to anybody about it except for you. And then at the same time, we send a letter to all three credit bureaus and tell them, I want you to open up an investigation on these collections, these derogatory marks. I don't recognize them, and I'm not really sure where they came from. So you're telling Mr. Collector, you can't talk to anybody except for me. And you're telling Mr. Credit Bureau, hey, investigate this. So they're going to call the collector, and it's going to be blocked because they're not allowed to talk to them. You're going to catch them in a corner, and they have 30 days to complete their investigation. And if they can't get it done, delete. So that's my approach. It's very aggressive, I will tell you that.
Okay, appreciate it.
No problem. Different credit coaches and companies do it a little bit differently. I've had a lot of success doing it this way with the double-edged approach.
And I guess the follow-on question would be, if you have decent enough credit, is it worth your time to get rid of those derogatory marks?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I would try to get your derogatory marks to 0. That would be the first thing that I attack. That's what I attack first with my clients is payment history and derogatory. And at the same time, I give them a couple little resources to add to their utilization or benefit their utilization, open a couple accounts while we're disputing, because these are 30-day disputes. You know, they've got 30 days to respond to you, and bet your bottom they're going to take 30 days to respond to you. Okay. And then the follow-up to them is if they don't respond in 30 days, then we send a 30-day no response letter, and it really gets aggressive. If they do respond, then we, depending on what they say back to us, then we have different letters that are designed for different types of responses, if that makes sense.
Okay, appreciate it.
Cat and mouse game with these guys. Okay, cool. Business. All right, let's do it. I'm going to share my screen with you. It's just a list of notes that I have compiled for myself. When we open new businesses, we run these steps. So let's just jump into it, and then you guys can hit me with as many questions as we have time for here. So I use Evernote to take my notes. Give me a thumbs up or tune in and let me know if you can actually hear or see this, or if I need to blow it up a little bit. Good. Okay. So there's seven critical steps to building business credit. Of course, you want to open up your business, LLC, get your EIN. I like to build business credit without names like real estate or investments or properties. They just tend to be a little bit more leery of investment type companies or real estate type companies. I'm not saying you can't. But if you want to open an LLC strictly for building huge lines of credit, business credit, then keep that kind of stuff out of it. Do Crist Consulting is a good example. And I'm getting ready to go to town with some business credit on this side. I don't have any credit cards in this. This is a new business for me. So start with an LLC, be kind of vague in the title of it, and start getting your business ready for credit. So you want a neutral name so you don't get thrown in specific buckets. Make your business address separate from your home, but I have heard recently people are using Suite 101 or Suite 201 at the end of their home address. and that is kind of their business address, and that seems to be acceptable right now. You can also go to your local, like PO boxes. Don't really want to use a PO box. You want a physical address. So you could even go to your UPS store and open a box there, and your UPS store has the physical location, but then your number, your box number can be Suite 101. Okay, so use UPS stores, not post offices. Get listed with Moz, M-O-Z-Z. You want to get listed on Moz because it'll report to all 3 business bureaus. It's $199 a year. You don't have to pay for it year after year. Get it, then cancel it after the first year. You just want the influx of reporting to your business pretty early, and it gets your name out there kind of in the credit world. You want to start networking with local banks. So for me, I'm in West Virginia. Just Google SBA lenders in your state, your city and state. You want to put them in a spreadsheet, track them. All right, get you a big old list. Maybe look in the yellow pages. Find all your local banks. These aren't your Chases and your Wells Fargos. Okay, these are your little guys. Little guys are more apt to lend you money. We're looking for low or no doc banks. Chase, Capital One, Wells Fargo, they're going to document everything you do. They're going to want blood. Okay, you want to find these little guys that you can actually take the VP out to coffee and talk to them about what kind of loans you're looking for. Okay, call them, ask them, what kind of products do they offer? What kind of products do you have for small businesses? Do you offer business credit cards? Is your credit card in-house or do you run it through a third party? Ask them if they lend to other states. If you can't find many in your state, then maybe you need to go one state up and ask if they, you guys are all in a pretty big city, I believe. So you should probably be good with this. But for me, I like to reach out to Virginia and Maryland, network a little bit with their local banks out there, see if they would lend to somebody little like me in little old Charleston. Try to get them out to lunch, that you know, like, and trust. That's common. You want them to know, like, and trust you. Ask them what kind of business lines of credit they offer and what their typical requirements are. Some of those requirements are usually, a personal financial statement, 2 years of your tax returns. A lot of them want to see you in business for a certain amount of years. 3 to 5 years would be good. You don't have to have 3 to, and this is how long have you been in business for? Not how long has your company been open. How long have you as a person been in business for? You've been doing business for 20 years? You can say that. Your company doesn't have to have been open for 20 years, but you as a person, how long you've been in business. And then you get to what you're actually looking for. Okay, you're getting them to know, like, and trust you. Then you're trying to get them to answer this question. You're looking for a no doc or low doc, no or low doc programs. 9 out of 10 are going to say no way. They're going to want you to personally guarantee it. What we're doing with no doc and low doc is we don't want to personally guarantee it ourselves, because if something happens with that loan, we're not personally guaranteeing it, and we're not responsible for it. Like I said, Chase is not going to give you one of these. This is your small guys that need your money in their bank to be able to have a bank, right? Mom and pop shop local banks. While you're doing all this networking, this is what you want to be setting up your business profiles with all the 3 big bureaus in business credit. So they're similar, but a little bit different. Dun & Bradstreet. I'm going to give you a warning about Dun & Bradstreet too. Get on there, get your DNB number. Do not let them sell you their multiple hundreds or $1,000 products. You don't need any of that. You need the Dun & Bradstreet number. That's it. It's like the social security number of your business. That's what you're going after. You don't need their silly little products and their boosts and all that stuff. Then you're going to have experience small business and Equifax small business. So those sound common, right? NAV, set up your NAV. It's the credit karma of your business, NAV. You do want to get the paid account here. Go ahead and get the paid account. It'll report to all 3 bureaus. That's good. That's an account. You want to have multiple accounts. Start it right before the first of the month, because NAV reports on the first of the month. So start your business on today. Start it today, 2/24, 2/25. Something before the first, because you want to go ahead and get it pinging on March 1st. It's not like a credit card where the statement dates are all over the place. They report on the first. Then you want to start adding small trade lines of credit. And I'm going to give you a list here in a second of tons and tons of trade lines. So you want to build trade lines. Ask if they'll give you net 30 terms. So like an invoice me later type of terms. All right. You don't want to pay, if you go to Grainger and get a bucket of paint, get it on the net 30 terms. You don't want to pay on day 1. You don't want to pay on day 5. Give it a week or 2. You want to give it time to reflect on your credit account with Grainger. Don't pay it on day 1, but definitely don't pay it past day 30. Wait till the second or third week before you pay that. Give it time to ping your account. My thing's saying my internet's unstable, so let me know if I'm freezing up or you can't hear me. If I'm good, I'll keep going.
You're good.
Good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right, awesome. It just popped on my screen and said your connection's unstable. So these are similar to credit cards, but they're business accounts with each of these small trade lines. Okay, you're not going to go in and swipe a card. You're going to get an invoice, and then you're going to go online, and you can probably pay with your Bank of America card. Like, you're going to be able to pay them with a card instead of a check, but they're going to invoice you, and you're going to have 30 days to pay it. Okay. Like I said, pay a week before. Don't pay it right away. And then you want to start optimizing your rankings. Go to NAV, go to Dun & Bradstreet, make sure everything's being paid on time. Get your addresses proper. You're going to be listing on 411. You're going to be listing on Yellow Pages. You're going to do a Google My Business. You're going to do all those things, and you want everything to be the same address, same business phone number, same all that good stuff. And then you can check your SBSS score on your NAV account. That's your credit score. You want to be 175 or higher. We have 850 scale with personal. I can't remember the exact. Is it 350, 250? I can't remember. You want to be above 175 on your NAV scores. Then, and only then, once you've got all this set up, then you can start applying for some of the steps for building business credit. Make sure you know what the terms are. Have your last 3 months of bank statements. I've got all kinds of little notes in here. Capital One has a blended score between personal and credit. We just touched on that. So, Capital One, if you go get a Spark card, they're going to pull your personal credit on all 3. This step 7 is you're actually getting those cards and those loans. Up here, we're talking to small local banks. These are more bigger banks and your bigger credit cards. So you can start reaching back out to those people in step 3 once you've got all this stuff done. And you can also start looking for credit unions and niche lenders online, Lending Club, Cabbage, PayPal Lending, all these bigger institutions. Okay, and you'll start getting mail in the letters in the mail from these guys. They'll start hitting you once you get all this stuff out there on Yellow Pages, on 411. They're going to see you're an active business. You're going to start getting a lot of letters in the mail from them. So just be on the lookout. If they're sending you mail, you're pre-qualified. So it's likely that you will get that loan. Okay. So you want to be looking for those because your chances are better. It's all about building relationships. These trade lines are going to last you forever. So build relationships with your local banks and your niche lenders. Get your business lines of credit, and then your business credit cards. Questions there? Okay, I'm going to give you a vendor list. I'll email this to the group. There are tiers to your trade lines, not your credit cards, but your trade lines. And you want to start with tier 1. Get you 3 to 5, if not all of them, 10. And I have more than this, but this is the short list that I have for us tonight. But some of the level 1s are Uline, Quill, Grainger, Print Country, Summa Supplies. This one's super easy to get. It's an online information. I bought a course on something, QuickBooks or something like that. It's a super easy one. But what you're doing is you're opening all these trade lines and you're showing that you have credit, you have business credit. And then we're rolling down and getting to the big dogs. Gimplers, HD Supply, Laughlin and Associates. A lot of these just report to Dun & Bradstreet. A lot of them are just Experian. The level ones seem to be more of reporting to just one or one of the three main bureaus. Then you move down to level 2, Office Depot, FedEx Office, Conoco, BP Gas, Valero, Staples, Newegg. Some of them I've got links in there. You can just direct click them and get on there and apply for their trade lines. You don't need to do all of them. You need a few in each tier, 3 to 5 in each tier. And this is just adding more. It's like your total accounts with your personal credit. You're just adding more accounts. And then you can get some of the level 3s. Macy's, Cabela's. There's a bunch of them in here. Rapid Forms, Bags and Bows. Home Depot is actually a level 3. And there's some, you can actually get net 30 terms with Home Depot. Not on your credit card. Well, we talked about your credit card. Sometimes they give you 60 days to pay. But you can actually get real like net 30 terms where you don't have to pay that day. So that's pretty cool. Then some of the credit card companies here. American Express reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Capital One, Dun & Bradstreet, and Experian. Chase, all 3. Citi, all 3. Discover, all 3. PNC's Experian. And then I've got some documents down here with the different net 30 accounts and easy ones that you can go out there and grab onto those. Business credit's pretty expansive, but I'll kind of show you too. I've been doing it for 2 of my real estate companies, and we're starting to get these in the mail now. These are your big boy cards. You've got this Platinum, Amex Platinum. That thing's like $600 annual fee a year. It's got all the bells and whistles to it. I probably won't even go after it, but it's got me $100,000 or 100,000 point bonus, which is really, really high. You won't get these online. Their cap will probably be 75,000 on the points, but when they start sending you mail, they sweeten the pot for you a little bit. And then I think I got this one the other day too. Chase Inc. Business Preferred Card, another $100,000 offer. These just came to me yesterday, so it was pretty cool, pretty perfect timing for this. And those are 2 good business cards. But we've ran this course, we've ran these steps with our 2 real estate companies, and now we're starting to see the results. We started about 6 months ago on each one of these, so it takes a little bit of time, but slow and steady wins the race. Build it up over time. And I'll also tell you too, while we're on this subject, we just refinanced a portfolio of our rental properties we had with a blend of hard money and private money lenders. There were 5 single family homes, and we made a good connection with a local bank, Premier Bank. Actually, me and Mickey talked about, we found Premier Bank is in DC as well. And they refinanced 5 properties for us and gave us a $500,000 credit line with them to go out and buy more property. So I'm kind of a living example of the things that we're doing in our business. And now I'm just trying to teach it to other real estate investors and other business entrepreneur type people. Because this stuff works. You just got to stay persistent with it, just like anything. Don't give up after 3 months. Just keep going after it. Hit me with some questions.
So one question that I have, and again, it kind of ties back to the personal credit. So my understanding of business credit is that, especially when you're looking to get the paydex score, that you want to pay early. You don't want to pay too early, because then I think it can be reported as a cash transaction, but then you don't want to pay too close to when the invoice is due. So does that, and you had mentioned this in terms of like the credit utilization, does that apply to the personal credit too? Like if I pay on the due date of the invoice for the personal credit, does that affect my score, or is it more so just the utilization that goes into the score for the credit, for the personal credit? And I hope that makes sense.
We jumped between personal and business there a little bit. So what are we talking, personal?
So I guess what I'm trying to understand is with business credit, you don't want to pay too late, but you don't want to pay too early. For
Right.
personal credit, does that same principle apply in terms of paying early and increasing your score, or paying too late and it have an effect on your credit score?
I don't know if it's my connection or yours, Lorraine, but I'm catching pieces of it. I'm gonna try to answer it as best as I can. So with your personal, just make sure you're paying before the credit card statement date. Always. Don't wait till the minimum due date. Pay. I've got a list of my credit cards, and the date beside each one of my list is the statement date. I take note of the statement date, and then I plug it into my phone that, hey, make sure you pay I got one due today, the 24th. I know my Chase Freedom card is due. This statement date's the 24th. I want to pay it to zero before midnight tonight. On the business side of it, yes, you're absolutely right. Don't pay it too early. Don't pay it too late. You kind of got to catch it right there in the middle of that net 30 term. You want to pay it between week 2 and 3, between your 14th and your 21st day. That's when you want to pay that off in full. Does that answer that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
You got it. Lorraine's getting her business credit up too, from what I hear. Word on the street is she's balling on the business credit score right now.
I'm trying to catch up with you, Jordan. I gotta keep up.
I think you already passed me on the business side now.
So Jordan, the people were asking if you were going to share this information, the one that you have written. So I've asked them to email you directly. I kind of give you the freedom to share what you need to share, just to remind everybody that, it is his business as well. So this is something that he is doing. So we want to kind of give him the opportunity to share what he needs to share. And then he is available for you guys to assist if you want to do more. That's definitely his, little niche that he developed.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel free to email me. I can't write down or put all these emails down fast enough, and a lot of them are intermingled with other messages. So you've got my email. You just email me, and I will definitely respond to you.
Perfect.
And I just use a simple little Gmail, just my name, nothing fancy.
Yep, I put it in there again, but there's jordanbchrist@gmail.com.
Yes. And check out cristconsulting.com. That's my company. That's my website that Sean and the gang built for me. And I think they've just done a fantastic job on it. So I'm pretty proud of it. We've got some good blogs on there. I've got my free training on there. The free training is definitely more personal. The business stuff is I've been working on my businesses, trying to proof of concept it, right? This is what I've learned. This is what I'm applying to my business. You're not going to find a whole lot about business credit on my website right now. I haven't really started sharing this information, but we're all business folks. So I figured I'd go ahead and share what I do know about business credit tonight. It's a work in progress.
Absolutely. We definitely appreciate that. Do you guys have any additional question? The website information is in the email. So Jordan is going to email back because there's more that he wanted to share with us, but we prefer to go through the presentation first. So Jordan, if you don't mind answering back with the information that you have about the fundamental elements of your credit score, you had sent that to me. So if you can email everybody back with that information and whatever else you want to share, just hit reply to all, and you can share that mix. And because it has your website, it has all your information on there, and just rewrite your email so people can email you directly.
Absolutely, I'll do that.
So much. This was so informative. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I know that's a lot. There's definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to credit. So we had a good hour. I felt like that was a strong hour we had there, and there was a lot of good questions there. So I appreciate everybody. It's only fun if everybody's asking questions and figuring out what do you actually want to know, because there's a never-ending list of things you can talk about with credit. So thank you for the questions. I really appreciate you guys having me. And like I said, email me. I'll get you some more.
Yep. And this will be available next week. I'm going to put some fire under my assistant's feet so she can get the thing out. But it will be available, and it's in the email link. If you look at the email I sent, it's all the way at the bottom. It says the training videos, so you can always go back and look at these videos anytime. And we will share a copy with Jordan as well, so he can either put it on your website or YouTube or wherever he wants. But this was great. Thank you guys so much. Unfortunately, for the next few weeks, we have another meeting, and Jordan's going to be in that meeting as well at 8:30. So usually we like to hang out with you guys, but we have to run to go eat dinner and then come right back to our 8:30 meeting with Jordan and the rest of the crew. So I apologize. We really love to usually chat with someone, but we won't be able to do it until after mid-March when we come back from our training. All right.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
For coming. It's been great. Nice seeing you guys. Thank you so much for coming and spending the Wednesday evening with us every other week. So we appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, you guys.